thing about When We First Met is you've already seen it. You may not know it, but you've already seen this movie. This Netflix exclusive romantic comedy is written by John Whittington, directed by Ari Sandel, and stars Adam Devine, Alexandra Daddario, and Robbie Amell. It's cliche, dumb, and I think it's really enjoyable. Adam Devine plays Noah, a guy in his mid-20s who's watching the girl of his dreams, Avery, played by Alexandra Daddario, get engaged to Ethan, played by Robbie Amell. Noah and Avery first met on Halloween 2014, and they shared what Noah called a magical evening. Problem is, the next day, Avery met Ethan, they fell madly in love, and the rest was history, as the movie would put it. But through the magic of dumb romantic comedies, he finds out that he can travel back in time to the night that they first met and relive it and try and win her over. There are a few things to be praised about this movie. And the first being that the cast is, for the most part, really good. Alexandra Daddario and Robbie Amell are great as the two, I would say, main leads besides Adam Devine. And there are two somewhat supporting characters that are worth mentioning. Shelley Hennig and Andrew Batchelor play Avery and Noah's best friends in the movie. And without giving too much away about where they fit into the plot, they are phenomenal. I'd never seen Shelley Hennig before in a movie, and I really liked her a lot in this, and I want to see what else she's been in, if anything, because I think she was phenomenal in this movie. Now, you may have noticed that I didn't include Adam Devine in the list of actors who I thought did a great job in this movie. I don't think he did a great job. Through the first third of the movie, really two-thirds on, actually, he's incredibly irritating. I'd only seen one other Adam Devine movie, and that was Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. And I definitely liked him in that, but I never realized that he kind of has a comedy shtick going for him, and that's just, I don't do a good Adam Devine, but he does a weird voice, and he's buff, and he makes a weird face, and like, through most of it, that's kind of the joke for him, which wasn't great, but like that last third where the movie tries to get deep, I think he did a really good job, and he definitely redeemed himself for this movie. And the other thing that's definitely worth mentioning for good things about this movie is that when the jokes work, they really freaking work. Like, not every joke hits bullseyes, and I'll mention that later on, but when they work, they're so funny. One of my favorite scenes is when Noah, Adam Devine's character, is picturing in his mind what it looked like when Avery and Ethan first met. In it, they decide to make Robbie Amell as Ethan into a centaur. Like he's a shirtless centaur, and Alexandra Daddario is like feeling his ab, and I cracked up laughing because it was so funny. Like it was crazy humor like that I really loved in this movie. Now, with those good things in mind, there's definitely a lot that's just awful about this movie. And the first being that, well, when it's very funny, it's extremely funny. When it's not funny, it's really not funny, guys. And one of the most pitiful attempts at humor in this movie is in the first scene, Adam Devine is at Daddario and Amell's engagement party, and he's drunk. And folks, he is not a good drunk actor. It's really obnoxious, it's really irritating. He does that weird Adam Devine funny voice as a drunk. He throws up at one point, and it's not funny, guys. And there are a lot of moments that just aren't funny like that. And, yeah, in a romantic comedy, or any kind of comedy, you should be laughing more than you're not laughing. And I'd say it's 60-40 in favor of not funny, is what I would say. Now, the biggest problem with this movie, and I alluded to it in the intro, is that even if you haven't seen When We First Met, you've already seen it. And that's because the plot is disgustingly cliched. I watched this movie with my mother, and I showed this trailer to my friend Mike Adams, the guy who was in the Life is Strange podcast on this channel, shameless plug. I had showed him the trailer, and he had no interest in it, and he had actually said beforehand, I bet you I can predict the entire plot and the entire message of the movie without even seeing it. And the thing is, guys, between myself, my mom, and Mike, we predicted everything. Every plot twist, every turn. Guys, I was predicting jokes before they even happened. That was a lot of the unfunny humor was, oh, I bet you this cliche thing is going to happen. Oh, I bet you this happens. And now I'm going to give somewhat of a spoiler warning. In the end of the movie, Adam Devine's character, Noah, ends up with Avery's best friend. And the thing was, halfway through the movie, way before that happens, guys, my mom said, I bet you he ends up with the best friend. And that is exactly what happened. When three people collectively can predict the entire plot of your movie, it's probably not that strong of a premise. And, the whole thing. And the other main flaw I had, and I think it's a pretty severe flaw, is at the halfway point in the movie, Adam Devine, in a scene, spews out the message of the movie before we had the climax. The message of the movie is that you can't control fate. Fate is going to do what it wants to you. And there's literally a scene where Adam Devine says that. And now, if it was just once, I would be okay with it. But the thing is, they say it at least 2 more times. Like, oh geez, I guess I shouldn't have controlled fate. And like, I know it's a dumb movie, but come on. Here's the message. Let me beat it into your skull a little bit. Ugh. That was not great. When We First Met is a dumb, cliche, and sometimes unfunny romantic comedy. The best way I'd say to gauge if you'd enjoy this movie is to go watch the trailer. The thing is, you will get almost the entire plot, but you'll get a good idea about what kind of a movie it is. If you don't like the cliche, the dumb, and the unfunny, you probably won't enjoy this movie. But if you're like me and enjoy the cliche every once in a while, I think you'll have a good time. A 2.5 out of 5.